This podcast was made possible by our generous patrons. In particular, we want to thank Matt Patane, Amy Austin, Joseph Stowell, Kat Mosseri, Joshua K. Ward, Mix and Match, Arno Teva, Gander, and Osarian. Some of these are nicknames, obviously, and I'm sorry if I butchered your name. As a patron, you can get early access to our episodes, longer versions of the podcast, ebooks, extended versions of our audiobooks and audio dramas, and other rewards. If you're interested in supporting us, visit patreon.com/audioepics, one word. You can support us and get rewards from as little as $1 a month. Hello, and welcome to the Audio Epics podcast. And as usual, we've got me, Domien, and we've got...
Eline.
Yeah.
But we have another special guest.
Exactly.
Hello there.
It's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Surprise.
No, our guest today is Peter Van Riet. So tell us more about him.
So obviously, you can guess what the topic of this podcast is. We're going to talk about...
The war in Afghanistan. No, it's...
We're going to talk about music and storytelling. And music plays an important part in storytelling. Take The Lord of the Rings or Avatar, for example, or any good movie, and take away the score. And then you'll realize the tremendous impact of music on a story when it's a movie, an audiobook, or an audio drama. And there's even a lot of people who spontaneously put on music while reading a book to invoke extra atmosphere. So we've talked about Peter before. Mm-hmm. Peter has been creating music for Witch Hunter, The Beasts of the Western Wilds, The Will of the Woods, and now The Treasure of Boneyard Bay, and numerous other audio dramas like A Journey of Strange Bedfellows, Lock and Key, and The Dark Tome. So, maybe, Peter, you want to tell something about yourself?
I'm Peter. I'm a musician. I'm actually a classical pianist, a trained classical pianist. And my main job is actually as a piano teacher in a music school in Antwerp.
We've prepared about 7 questions for you.
Right.
They're rather serious questions.
Ooh.
And especially...
Heavy questions.
Yeah, heavy. So you're probably gonna get out with a headache, but we've got a number of drugs to offer you. So we're gonna ask you some questions, and afterwards, for our patrons exclusively, we're gonna ask you some more questions, but silly ones.
Yeah.
The best ones.
First question.
Question 1. I'll put a clock here.
Okay.
And get 60 seconds to answer.
Invisible clock.
Insert sound effect.
So, when did you know you wanted to become a composer, and when did you decide to start to compose for, audio stories?
I think that began with the first project of Audio Epics, while it still was named Dreamgate Productions, I think.
Right, yeah.
Right. It was. I was still studying. I was I think 22, 23 or something. I don't know. It was...
Must have been in the year 2006 or 2007 that we were making that.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I think
probably
so.
more 2000. Yeah, 2000. Yeah. And Olivier Fuchs asked me, I don't know, we had some common friends or something. He asked me if I wanted to compose the music for a Dutch audio drama project. And I actually... Before that, I never really was interested in composing for music or composing music for films or anything or audio drama or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I always was a big fan of soundtrack music. So I accepted the challenge. So that was actually the first...
oh, wow. So you never had a plan to start composing music for...
No, actually, no.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, I fiddled a bit around with some on my own, but nothing serious.
But there probably was a time when you were a child when you were interested in music somehow or wanted to
I was a pianist.
Well,
I
When did you know you wanted to play the piano?
when I was 6 years old, I think. I was inspired by my music teacher in the first grade.
Oh, wow.
He had a synthesizer, and he made his own songs. He made musicals for the school also. So that inspired. Actually, I wanted to play the synthesizer first, but then I couldn't learn the synthesizer. I had to study piano first, classical piano first. But then my interest shifted towards more classical piano.
And why exactly did you prefer the piano over the synthesizer in the end?
It's an entirely other instrument. It serves an entire other purpose, a synthesizer or a piano. It has its own qualities. It's how you play it, its own technique, how you play it, its own sound quality. It's just a synthesizer also has keys, but that's it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Keyboard looks vaguely the same.
Yeah, it has key. It's black and white keys, but it serves another purpose. It's like an accordion has also keys, but it's also entirely another instrument, of course. Yeah.
And what do you like about composing music for storytelling? So for stories in particular?
It inspires me. It inspires me, and I just like working together with another medium. I've always liked that.
By the way, that sound you're hearing is our dishwasher.
Beautiful sounds. Are you satisfied with your dishwasher?
It's not my stomach or anything.
We thought it added to the professionalism of this
podcast. It's very professional. I feel really. It's the level of professionalism has just entered a new world.
The dishwasher world.
The dishwasher
the world.
A new
dishes.
world. We're a dishwasher.
Right. So, what are some of the challenges you face when you try to, compose music for audio drama?
Yeah.
What a difficult question. You have to get on the same level as creatively as the person you're creating the music for. That's very important. That's not always evident. Is it the right word?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's but between us. It's if we work together,
we're on the same page.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
I think we both have a kind of we like to look at things from the viewpoint of what's the sort of the mood and the atmosphere that this evokes.
Yeah, but also you can't get the music. It's possible for the music to get in the way of the story. So when I began, I wanted to. You want to fight for fight, not literally, but you have to like stand up for yourself, and you have the urge to want to compose as much music as possible, but that's not always needed.
It's more like you gotta support the atmosphere in the
existing
story.
The music, the moments with the music can be much more powerful if it's not used from beginning to wall from the beginning to the end.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
It's not like music all the time.
Yeah, that can be really tiresome because it's an extra element, but it depends on which kind of music too, which can be atmospherical, like, or moody, or like actually like more in the last Beast of the Western Wilds. You made some music too. Some. Yeah, no. It was there are some atmospherical tracks, or more synthesizer.
Yeah, it's
sound.
more like abstract sound effects.
No, but
than music.
I liked it. I think. Yeah, but it was nice to hear. It worked.
Okay.
And I liked it.
Thanks.
Yeah. Congratulations.
He looks at it more like an extended sound effect.
When two composers collide.
Yeah. Where the boundaries between sound effects and music are kind of...
That's merge or
So, during Beast of the Western Wilds, you also... you weren't the only composer there. There was also Dane Leonardson.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
We didn't really work together, as in he composed his, so it wasn't really.
He composed his part, and you composed your
I composed
part.
my part, so we didn't really talk
Yeah.
of
Still,
had
I
it
thought it worked
about-
perfectly.
I
think it
his tracks-
complemented each other
yes,
quite well.
I really liked it what he composed.
When you listen to the soundtrack that came out
Absolutely.
recently, it feels like it's a whole,
Yeah.
like it's complete.
Yeah, and he has another style of composing, and I think it's really cool what he did. To hear something else than my typical style and themes. Technique.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone has his own technique and sound, and he has a really cool sound.
That's a nice segue into our next question, actually. Question 4.
Yeah. What is your general approach when you compose for existing stories or stories in the making?
Wait, my
So your general approach, how do you start a project like that? Do you start by looking for?
It's always different, actually. It's the latest. Well, that's actually Boneyard Bay. I composed like a theme in a general.
Right. Yeah. At the time of this recording, we've got the main theme. And you know that's all.
That's all. So I kind of wrote a sort of suite. From like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I think. But it's different every time, actually.
It already incorporates multiple themes. This sort of.
Yeah, of course it's easy because there are older themes which I then try to incorporate in a way, in a more subtle way, or in the background, or I also try to incorporate some techniques I used in the first story, but in another way. So I don't know. I think it's nice to vary it or revisit older things and then make it in something new.
That's kind of the fun part for us too. When
it all comes together.
Yeah, it's kind of a mutual effort now because we put your track on repeat and it does magic for the writing.
We're doing the writing.
Not tired.
Yeah.
We're in the writing process now, and
no, we don't get tired.
We made a playlist, so it starts with the Boneyard Bay theme, and then there's music from Pirates of the Caribbean and Atlantis, James Newton Howard.
I listened to Atlantis too.
Oh right, okay.
I watched the film actually, but
okay. So a bunch of other, adventure music like that. So a bit of Indiana Jones, and at the end of the playlist is like your variant, second version of the Boneyard Bay theme because you made 2 versions.
Yeah.
So it's
there are probably more to follow.
Yeah, in the past when we worked together, there have been like the Redla theme from the Will of the Woods,
like 20 different versions of it. Every time I sent it's almost finished, really almost finished.
I remember receiving a track called Redla Final B1.
It's never finished.
And
I'm still working on it.
And we always thought it was awesome. We were like, yeah, it's finished, it's awesome. But then you were like, no, I want to do another version because this can be a little bit better. And I got this new sound here, a new instrument. And,
now I don't really do that anymore. Like I try to finish it and then carry on with another piece because you can tweak endlessly on the tracks. I really want.
Yeah. Perfectionism
is
a bitch, isn't it?
And I get tired of it myself. Like hearing that theme for the 20th, 30th, 40th times. All right, we get it. Move along.
I kind of get the feeling that you've become more confident as a composer as you've gained more experience over the years. I mean, what you did with Will of the Woods.
Well, I didn't know what I was doing. Like I was just played it. Oh, that sounds all right. And
it's still one of my favorite things to listen to. Of course, I'm biased.
We still don't know what we're doing after all these years. So
yeah, that's true.
But maybe that's because I didn't really know what I was doing. You get some interesting results. It's not the most efficient way, of approaching it, but it's
intuitive.
It's a way, and it's intuitive, and if I compose now, it's a completely different way. Then for Will of the Woods I was just finding it out on the way.
Yeah, well, yeah, and with Will of the Wisps there was also another composer involved.
Vincent.
Right, Vincent, who did a number of tracks.
Last Team was actually him.
Right. Originally, he made that that theme, but it had a very different sound when he did it.
It made it also with other sounds, so it's
but it had a different sort of emotional style. It was more like free floating, easygoing, and you turned it into more like an exciting ride.
Yeah.
He did Voltum's theme as well, right?
Right. Yeah. Vincent did the theme for Voltum.
I like that very much. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. His style was more of like the sort of music you expect in like a fantasy video game, like more like something like Warcraft, the strategy game, back in the day. Yeah. More like that was the sort of music he did, and whereas you went for something a bit more, poetic, a bit more.
I think a bit more dramatic. No, I don't know. I think I was a bit inspired by the music of the third Harry Potter film.
Oh yeah,
right.
Buckbeak's Ride.
Yeah, that was really.
Yeah.
It's completely not on that level. Absolutely not. But it's.
No, but that's sort of what it evokes.
It was entirely different than that track, but
I've got a playlist on Spotify called Flight. Or something.
Okay, Flight.
And I put all the tracks of all movies in there that concern flying, like
the track "Flying" from E.T.
Yeah. So and that's actually pretty cool to.
I like that.
To play.
I'll have to release.
Especially when you're driving, it's very efficient.
Spotify, so you can add a track to the playlist.
Oh. Yeah, there's a lot of film music with great flying tracks.
Superman.
Yeah, that's
How to Train Your Dragon has some great flying music.
I love that.
It's in there.
I love that music.
Yeah. So, and if you listen to that when you're driving, it's very efficient. To,
Get dangerous.
Get to your destination on time. Yeah.
You get there quicker.
That's
It does help.
Yeah.
So, what actually is your take on the role of music in storytelling?
My take.
So, do you think it's you can have a story like a movie without or with little music?
Sure.
Or you think the music kind of carries the story? What do you think is the importance of music in like a movie or an audio drama project?
It doesn't necessarily have to carry the story. It really is. It depends. It really depends. I don't think there is one clear-cut answer to that.
And do you think there's perhaps a difference between when you have a narrator that kind of invokes the atmosphere, you need less music than if you don't have a narrator, that the music kind of takes over?
There has to be a balance.
Yeah.
Between the elements. If you have a narrator, if you add an element, I think you have just so much. You have a limited space where you work in. When you have effects and a storyteller and music, each element has its place in that space, I think. In storytelling, you mean storytelling in audio drama or also storytelling with film? With film, it's
both. With
film, it's a bit different because it's actually with audio drama, it sounds harder, I think, than with film, because you have the image and you can have moments where you have just a lot of moments where you have just the visuals and there can be music but no dialogue or anything, and you don't have that in audio drama.
But I guess with you've done some film work too, right?
Some short films. The last one was a long time ago, several years ago.
Yeah, wasn't it a horror piece? I seem to remember.
Yeah, Injurious Nightmare. It was really cool to do. Like, it was very inspiring thing.
I think we're ready for the worst question of all time.
Okay.
The question that everybody hates. Every creator hates. Where do you get your inspiration from?
What? I don't know. My inspiration. I listen. I watch a lot of movies. I listen to a lot of music. also just I pick it up in everything I watch and I listen on purpose or not on purpose, or things in the background. I don't know.
Yeah.
You get inspired all the time. Actually, there is not. You get always.
I can sort of actually say something about it myself, because we communicate, of course, while you are doing the music.
We do.
Yeah.
with gifs or
sometimes
memes.
through gifs and memes.
And memes from the prequels. The best memes.
But a lot of the time I hear you saying things like, I want to put some Hans Zimmer style strings in here, or I wanna do a horn a la John Williams.
Oh, yeah, there was more James Horner. No,
Yeah.
there is definite James Horner vibe, I think, in the track Boneyard for Boneyard Bay.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
But I use
can
more
hear.
like an homage, like a technique that he uses.
Da-da-da-da. No, that's not in there.
That's the main theme, actually. Wow, that's ruined. I have to write something else. Da-da-da-da. That's entirely different.
Or da-da-da-da.
Da-da-da-da. Yeah.
That exists too.
Oh, okay.
And some bagpipes and.
That apart from Superman.
That was my second, but okay. Can't do that either. Or?
No, but what I mean is, a lot of the time you, the way we communicate about the music is a lot of the time with, sort of stylistical elements from composers that you admire and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I really like as well.
So you can't really get around Hans Zimmer as an inspiration. You can get around it, but he's so extremely influential. Like, if you want to write something piratey, it's
hard to ignore.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
To not have an opinion if someone listens to that it reminds me a bit of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Actually,
it can be meant as a compliment, but if you really don't want it, again, really.
Actually, one of our patrons listened to the theme for The Treasure of Boneyard Bay, and he said, for a split second, I thought, this sounds like Pirates of the Caribbean, but then it suddenly really became its own thing. And
well, it begins with some notes that are a bit.
Yeah,
but it's actually
it's the Witch Hunter theme.
It's a Witch Hunter theme
in Pirates of the Caribbean style. I love that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Pirate style, not Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirate style.
Sorry.
Not just strings.
There are other pirate movies.
There are other pirates.
Yeah, but it's just strings in a certain rhythm, in a certain key, and then it's pirates. No, it's not pirates. It's yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there are other, of course, scores, famous movie scores with piratey themes, like Hook, John Williams.
Yes.
The Treasure Planet by James Newton Howard.
Yeah, but there are not a lot of pirate sounds.
It's true, there aren't many.
There is, I forgot the name. John Debney made the music, I think, for
Cutthroat Island.
Cutthroat Island, yeah, it's really that was for a long time before Pirates of the Caribbean, known as one of the coolest, more known pirate scores.
Is Hans Zimmer your favorite composer, or would you say you got another favorite, or you don't have a favorite composer?
It's almost impossible to say. It was very influential. In my teenage years, and that's like those years are when you grow up, I think those years are the ones that you're the most open for
Yeah.
influences.
True.
Those films I think you watch then, or the music you listen to, or
So back then that must have been like
keep-
Gladiator and
yeah, because Gladiator was 15, I think, when Gladiator came
Right.
out, and it was. I think I knew Hans Zimmer's music before that, but it was really from. I still think it's one of his best scores he made.
yeah.
But of course, I listened also to James Horner, Alan Silvestri,
All the big ones.
John Williams, of course.
Of course.
Of course, it's like John Williams. Ennio Morricone was later.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
He's kind of unique. He's got a very different feel to him. It's not American. It's kind of not a Hollywood sound.
Well, he even doesn't speak English. He just only speaks Italian. If he gave concerts, there also had to be a translator, I think, when he conducted the orchestra. That was not Italian, and there were there are lots of orchestras, I think, that are not Italian. There are other orchestras, I think.
Right,
So, yeah.
Right.
He gets away with it. If he got away with it, yeah.
Yeah.
He was my first composer, I think. Ennio Morricone.
Okay.
I had some CDs from my dad and Vangelis as well. So those were the first in
Can
the
I take
80s.
a chocolate?
Yeah.
Of course you can. I've been holding one for a while now, but I didn't dare to open it.
Okay.
So I'll just make the sound here. Doesn't that sound scrumptious?
You cannot have a podcast
going
in
to-
Belgium and not eat
Are we
chocolate.
going to review the chocolates?
Yeah,
awesome.
You can review it.
I like it.
It's Côte d'Or, 70%.
70? It's black?
Yeah.
Yeah.
70%.
Black. We like things
Dark.
black.
Dark.
And we're having tea.
Batman
Tea
style.
is Rose's Tea by Côté. Also very fancy.
You looking for sponsors or no?
If you think your tea is fancier, we might.
I'm not peeing, I'm pouring tea.
We can. You always use some sponsors. So you said the number 6 was the worst question. I can top that with
Okay.
number 7.
Ooh,
This is the very.
what a wonderful interview.
Yeah, are you having fun?
I'm happy. I am.
No, first we make you suffer, and then you get the fun questions.
Okay.
If you were interviewing yourself and had to ask yourself a question, what would it be?
I don't know. Would you know?
Okay, what would you ask Hans Zimmer if you were interviewing him?
I don't know. What is your favorite tea? Something totally not music related. because-
Maybe what?
What is?
What's your inspiration?
What is your inspiration? What would you ask yourself?
Yeah.
I said that I would, and it's
Mr. Hans Zimmer.
Do I still have to answer the question? What a horrible question. I don't know that.
Yeah, we're so ashamed.
How are you? I don't
sorry.
know.
No, we're not ashamed. We're not.
Are you ashamed?
For shame!
For shame! It's an opera.
No, really. You can,
No.
if you interview Hans Zimmer, you can actually ask him what's your source of inspiration, because you're the inspiration for so many composers. But
Actually,
and then he says, "I inspire myself."
Isn't Ennio Morricone one of his inspirations? I think he once said.
I don't
Probably
know.
is.
But
Maybe Kraftwerk. He has. He often wears like those ridiculous T-shirts.
okay.
Really?
Yeah, and one of them.
Well, I don't think I know what many composers look like.
Oh, okay.
I really don't. I just listen
Hans
to their
Zimmer
music. But
looks like a very normal guy.
Yeah,
We got
it's
the
normal
CD.
German-looking guy.
We recently got the CD for Interstellar. We still buy CDs.
yeah,
Okay.
we're not embarrassed.
No, not at all.
How dare you?
We're proud of it. But there were notes in the booklet,
Yeah.
and in it, Hans Zimmer was talking about how he grew up in a small town in Germany, and there was an organ in the local church, and he knew the organ player, and he taught him the ropes, and he said how he remembered that, you know, as a boy he got to play on that massive instrument for the first time, and you know how that was one of his, you know, big experiences that sort of really got him into.
I also played the organ.
Yeah. You played the organ in which? No, that was.
No, I actually.
It wasn't the real organ, right?
No, that was not a real organ. Yeah. But I have.
But we wanted to do. I remember that we wanted to do that.
True, and we wanted to record in the church in my hometown.
But these days, with digital,
it was possible. If we wanted to.
You can do.
Or you have to have really, really, really good microphones and do it really good. But the chances you're able to do that to get a better result, then. But you can do it, of course. It gives a unique sound and another sound that other people are using. So
I have a question for you. A question of my own.
Okay.
We're going.
Was it in script?
No, it's not. It's not in the script.
You're going off script.
Yeah.
Pum.
We tend to do that. It's rogue, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going rogue.
Okay, you're going rogue. Exciting music in the background. Da-da-da-da-da.
Compose it.
What?
Why don't you compose it right now?
Okay.
No. So my question is, I was thinking recently. I was thinking recently, you know, how with computer music, how much you can do these days, how much the music you're making sounds orchestral, even though you do it in a computer.
Yes.
We obviously don't have the budget to do it with a real orchestra.
No.
I was thinking, how do you see that evolving in the future? Do you think like orchestras are going to slowly disappear and everything's going to get computerized, or because that would be sad?
No, I don't think that will happen.
Okay.
No, and I hope that won't happen. No, because no.
But you know, with a computer, you can make it sound so lifelike these days.
Yeah, but you don't know. Yeah, it seems lifelike, but it is a difference. It's a big difference. It's
I cannot explain it, but there's kind of a vibe to something.
Yeah, because all the notes,
yeah.
if you play it like 2 times, or you're playing samples, if you're playing like a string sample 2 notes, like 2 times, it sounds the same.
That's true.
And with an orchestra, you're playing with. You have people playing, and it's always different. It's never exactly the same, and it's also never exactly together. That's
right. Yeah.
It has a very
That's
organic
true.
feel, and there are techniques to do that, sampled, like or getting around that, and like not that it's not exactly the same, and it's, of course it sounds much better than like 20 or 30 years ago. That was just a really not realistic sounding
like the
string
MIDI
sounds.
sort of MIDI sound.
Yeah, that's it's like just.
It depends on your hearing as well, I think, and
if
how
you're
much
a
you're
musician
involved
too, but
music. Yeah.
Also, if you don't listen to music, you still know the difference. You're just not aware of its why or how, but you notice it.
It's like we've got all of these.
You're sensitive to.
Yeah. We've got all of these CDs that sort of are collections of famous film music, you know, famous movie themes by this orchestra or by that orchestra. So you hear different versions of famous music, and it sounds different every time.
It's interesting to hear different.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes I like it more than the original. Sometimes.
But you will always, it will always be different, because there are limits to what technology can do. I think it's like that new software they're promoting on social media to have a natural sounding voiceover that's actually a computer, but there's actually nothing natural.
I think it's a bit offensive, actually.
Yeah, it is.
It is. It's offensive too. I thought, no.
Starving
What?
people who live from the
Yeah.
voiceover like
What?
us.
Or just actors also,
Yeah.
because actors also. You don't have to be there are a lot of actors.
Yeah, but then
not
you
only
hear
voice
in
actors.
the reactions there are actually people who say, "I couldn't distinguish from a real voice."
what? Yeah, that's
like yeah.
okay. Or you're deaf, or you're like they're probably hired by that company to write such comments or something.
No, but I think
But-
the digital
it is-
tools are good tools.
It was impressive. I listened to it, and it was impressive, but it's not a real thing. And I
Yeah,
think you can
exactly.
get very, 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 very close, but not get. You can't get the same thing. It's impossible. It's not just not the same.
Yeah, like Schindler's List, for example. Who is Isaac Perelman, the violinist?
Yeah, I believe so. Exactly.
Yeah, he's like world famous, right? Mm-hmm. You couldn't just replace
Oh
that
no,
with a computer performance.
Oh no, and like strings, that's okay, but solo performers, it's like no, you can't do that. It's. I don't know if it will be possible ever, but like with a violin, is such some instruments, like a piano, you can sample, but still not the same.
Even a piano, you could never sound.
It's still not. You can sample it, but it's still not exactly the same. But it's okay. You can have a believable sampled piano. It's possible.
But it's almost
But then if you have far more complex instrument like a violin, I've never heard a believable sampled violin. It's no.
That's true. Computerized strings still sound a bit computery.
Yeah,
to
still,
this day.
and even the best, I think, even the best strings library, even then it doesn't. It's just not the same. So you can have something that's or sounds like very Hollywoodian. I don't know, like a typical Hollywood sound or a typical Hans Zimmer sound, but it's a very produced sound, and it's or an overproduced sound. And it's just
I think to this day, I'd still like to hear a live performance of your music for our audio dramas.
Like orchestral, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
yeah.
Witch Hunter in concert.
Witch Hunter in concerts.
For the Will of the Woods, the end credits music, you did that on the piano. That was acoustic.
Sure. Yeah, this was.
And I
singing.
still think it's one of the most beautiful tracks.
I actually played that once in a concert.
Yeah, I wish I could have been there.
Yeah, it was. It's really cool to write that down. No, actually, I didn't write it down. I made under arrangements, and I played it by heart, but I never wrote it down.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's right in your fingers.
Yeah.
Cool.
It might not be exactly the same anymore as I did play it.
Wow, that's the charm, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. And
Have you
also,
ever
I
seen the
just
movie
too lazy to
The
listen.
Legend of 1900?
Yes.
Yeah.
You recommended it to me.
Right. Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What you just said reminded me a bit of that movie where he
It was
refused to record his music.
but Tim
Roth,
and
yeah.
music by Ennio.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Ennio.
Danenio. So, yeah, he in the movie he's a pianist who refuses to write anything down or record his music because he feels like music is always in the moment and you cannot capture it or
That's not
Yeah.
why I'm just too lazy.
Okay, so there's no romanticism.
I'm sorry. Yes, it's exactly what you said. That film with Tim. Yeah, I was so inspired. That's it. I'm never going to write anything down anymore.
Yeah.
I threw away all my all my sheet music.
Since we're freewheeling, I'm kind of curious. Maybe we can talk about our favorite moments, music moments in storytelling.
Okay.
I know who our favorite composer is. Well, not really. Well, my favorite soundtrack is the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, but and my favorite composer is James Horner.
Yeah, I have the exact same answer.
Okay.
So it's
What
different.
if James Horner had composed the music for Lord of the Rings?
Before the movie came out, I was sort of campaigning for, James Horner had to do the music.
It could have been.
But he didn't want to, because he didn't want to, spend so much time on a project. And when I read it was gonna be Howard Shore, I thought, Howard Shore? He did like Seven and Mrs. Doubtfire, and I was like,
very. I found him difficult to listen to, actually.
Yeah.
It fits the movies.
Me too.
Very well, but
yeah.
It's. I found it very difficult to listen to. It's not the most accessible music to listen to.
That's exactly how I felt. Yeah.
If you just listen
And
to
that soundtrack is just, it's amazing, and the thematic, and and then you hear, for example, his
and also
soundtrack for Twilight.
It's a very.
It was kind of forgettable.
Twilight.
Yeah,
the third one.
Third one.
Howard Shore did to make for.
Yeah, it was completely forgettable. So that's one of those composers who I think he excels when he's inspired by the right project.
Okay.
But then put him on another project and he's like
kind
of lost.
He did all of those cultural influences with the elves, with the Eastern influences for the elves, and the male choir for the dwarves, and even Chinese instruments with Smaug the dragon.
Very unique sound.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be that unique if it were I don't know, it wouldn't be, or maybe it would, I don't know, you don't know. But I think it wouldn't be that unique if it was composed by James Horner. It would be a James Horner sound.
Yeah.
He has his own unique sound.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't mind if he does the same things. It's kind of his stamp of approval, his signature, really.
I'd always imagined the end credits.
Or if it's Danny
But I used to, before the movies came out,
I'm sorry, you wanted to say something? Go.
So Danny Elfman entered the room.
The room?
Let's not go there. That was the best soundtrack of all time. Oh,
no,
I forgot about
I was saying I used to listen to the end credits music for Braveheart before the Lord of the Rings movies came out, and I always imagined the ending of the Lord of the Rings, the Grey Havens and Sam going home to his family, and I always imagined that scene while I was listening to the end credits to Braveheart.
But then it was better. Even better. I mean, they got an entire book on the soundtrack of the Lord of the Rings. It's amazing. And what I particularly loved in the Hobbit movies was that if you know the music so well, you actually get to know things in advance. For example, when the dwarves get shot at with arrows. No, not the dwarves, the wargs get shot at with arrows. So someone out there is helping them out, shooting those wargs. And then before you see that these are elven arrows, you hear the music, the elf
Rivendell theme.
Yeah, the Rivendell theme. So you know, it's the elves coming to their rescue before they actually reveal it to the audience. So I thought that was just adds so much.
I love that thematic stuff. It's of course in Star Wars as well. John Williams.
Yeah.
It's very thematic as well.
Yes, it's a space opera with fitting music. It's every character has its theme. It's really written like an opera, actually.
Yeah.
Every character has its theme.
I love that when it's thematic.
Or you have the Force theme. You have like so many themes. It's in a really classical, and I think I don't know if every film uses that technique. But
every Star Wars film, or
almost a lot of soundtrack, a lot of films.
Not all of them. They don't all have their
not
approach.
really the thematic approach. No, but lots of the more epic movies have that typical style.
I don't think you encounter it that much.
Not that often.
That you really have themes for different characters.
Yeah.
I am not to my knowledge.
Or hummable themes.
yeah.
Yeah, like the soundtrack for Avatar was really, really cool, but they didn't really have themes for the characters. And what I thought was really disappointing was when they made the extended edition, and they actually introduced the music for the war scene beforehand, because they had an extra part where they didn't have music for, so they actually...
They needed extra music.
Yeah, they had needed extra music, but they didn't compose it, so they just reused pieces.
Howard Shore actually did. Yeah.
They kind of spoiled the war music, which is kind of really
they used it too soon.
They used it too soon. It was like, it felt kind of like they
well, I think George Lucas
at New Year's
did that
Eve
too, with like a lot of scenes where he extended it or he shortened it or he reused it. Or I think in Attack of the Clones there's a lot of music that he and like
that reused from
or cut off in scenes and then like really awkwardly put together.
We reuse some music too, and
we do that. We do that too. But I guess with the extended edition of Avatar, it was just more troubling and more annoying for some reason.
Because you work towards that battle in the storytelling, and that's where the connection between storytelling and music is kind of important, because you work towards that moment, and when you spoil the music for the war scene beforehand, it kind of breaks the tension. Yeah, that's it. Because, like, for example, in Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin is Darth Vader and he attacks the Jedi Temple, you hear like the music from the arena scene from Episode 2, I think. That didn't bother me because it felt appropriate. And, but it wasn't like you already used the big major end music way before that scene happens. You create kind of expectations with the music that way. Like, it kind of bothered me a bit in The Hobbit that they used the Sauron, the ring race theme for the... that scene with Thorin in the first Hobbit movie. Yeah, I still wonder why they did that. I mean, it sounded very cool. It was a completely new take on the Nazgul theme, but why the Nazgul theme there? I still haven't seen the Hobbit movies. I still wonder why was it that theme. You know what? I wanted not to say another thing about extended editions. Worse than what they did in Avatar was the extended version of the movie Troy, where there were some extra themes. With James Horner, I think. Yeah, there were some extra themes, and suddenly it was music from Planet of the Apes. What? All right. They just used music from Planet of the Apes, like... That's really weird. Yeah, like you recognize it from a completely different movie. Oh, that's weird. And whose decision was that too? I think the director who directed that? That's Wolfgang Peterson, I think. He will also work together with James. Oh, that's strange too. Perfect Storm. Yeah, so they worked also together. So I did. Why? Yeah, that's just weird. They do that in trailers a lot. That's fine, because with the Two Towers, they used the music from Requiem for a Dream. Yeah, that was cool. I thought that was cool, but you don't just put music from another movie. That was just a trailer. That's something different. That's something different. But if you use music, insert music from another movie. Yeah, that was really. I think that directors can be. But that's lazy. That is lazy. Of course, I don't know the story. I don't know if I do know that James Horner was forced to write the music for Troy in 9 days. I think that incredible. Yes, because it was originally it was Gabriel Yared, or how his name is pronounced. I'm not sure. I think it's Yared. Jared, whatever. Gabriel. Gabriel. I think it was also released. I think it was those rare instances where the original score was released. But I think I liked James' score. I thought it was incredible what he did, considering he had so little time. I mean, like that scene with Achilles arriving on the beach with all the ships. Yeah. That whole battle scene is still one of my favorite battle tracks. Yeah. And I mean... how did he do that in such a short amount of time? It's incredible. Danger motif also. It's in there a lot. Yeah. If you only just. It does a lot of. 9 days. Wow. Yeah. Of course. I mean, you can't blame him for throwing all of his favorite things in there if you don't have a lot of time. 7 days.
9 days. Yeah.
9 days.
Yeah.
Never 2.5 hour movie, I think.
Well, if you compose
Wow.
so much music, it's inevitable that you reuse all their motifs or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
People say that about James Horner, that he repeats himself a lot. And it's true.
but there are
But
some motifs, but
it's good. I mean, what
kind
he
of
does
his
is good.
charm,
So
yeah, but it's not. He has written so much. A while ago, I listened to the Page Master.
right, yeah.
Also, when I wanted some inspiration for Boneyard Bay.
Mm-hmm. All right, there's a pirate moment in there.
There's
yeah.
a pirate. I looked up pirate and Page Master.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's really cool. That's a really cool soundtrack, and it hasn't got those motifs he's always reusing. It's he has composed so much music, and it's just the reusing is not in so much films as you
I
think.
Sometimes it's really subtle, or it's just one tiny
Well,
piece, and we're like,
it's
oh yeah.
mostly I think in
It's
in his
there.
later years too, from the years 2000 or from the end of 1990s, and then through.
Yeah, with Titanic.
It's just a
and
period
later,
of
yeah.
time that he reused some elements again, but it's just
Yeah.
from some films, and it's not something that
Yeah.
is typical for him, for
Yeah.
the whole of his career.
yeah,
or
that's
or
true.
like the Wrath
Yeah.
of Khan. It's
It's
it
very
sounds
different.
so different from his more
Yeah.
later.
Or
Yes.
The Name of the Rose, which is
Yeah.
I've never heard of
completely
it.
synthesizer.
Okay.
It's very different, and it's a medieval movie, but it somehow it fits. It's very strange.
I only know the music. I've never watched the movie because I read the book and I
Okay,
was
it's the good book.
I really loved it. But I was
Isn't that a sort of
It's a really tough book.
it's like
It's a very tough book.
middle-aged detective
Yeah.
novel. Yeah,
Is it
and
a-
kind of.
It's a very difficult
It's more
book.
complex than
Okay.
that, but I really loved it, and I was afraid they were going to spoil it in a relatively short movie. So
The movie is just focuses purely on just the detective story and leaves out
Okay.
all of the literary stuff.
yeah, I would imagine.
I'm really
I would
curious
imagine
about Dune. It's also from a book.
Yeah, and I'm very
And Zimmer is the
very
composer.
I'm curious about the sound. I thought Hans Zimmer for Dune, that sounds like a perfect match to me. When I heard that it was gonna be Hans Zimmer doing the score, I thought, wow, that's the right guy for this. The only other guy that I would have imagined for Dune would have been Vangelis,
Oh yeah,
but I don't know if he is still active.
is he still composing? I don't know. Yeah,
Because
Yeah, we
Dune
should.
gotta have it's this sort of vast, sort of reverberating synth sort of feel that sort of really
Well,
would
that's
fit. Yeah.
already also the case with Blade Runner.
Right? Yeah.
It's a really cool score.
yeah, I do have a.
Do you mean the original or the
The Vangelis,
2000,
yeah.
I mean the sequel from
Yeah.
Denis Villeneuve.
I liked
Okay.
it very much in the film, but I found it very difficult to listen to separately because there's a lot of just noise in there, just like electronic
have
noise.
you ever heard before Hans Zimmer? He worked together with Johan Johansson. He made the music for Arrival. I think
Okay.
if you have ever heard that music.
I've seen the film.
Yeah.
It's also not very approachable, but it works really, really, really good because he made some far more unapproachable music. Johan Johansson, the late Johan Johansson.
No, I don't know him, so I can't really.
He's an Icelandic composer, but he was I think he was only 40 something when he died.
Oh, too bad.
Like originally he would have made the music for Blade Runner 2049. But then Hans Zimmer was put on the film. And then shortly afterwards Johan Johansson died.
Oh, okay.
I think it was not suicide, but it was a mixture of I don't know.
They didn't
Alcohol
approach.
and that's a really
Drugs.
Yeah, drugs
Yeah.
and yeah.
Oh, Oh, it's so sad.
Yeah, it's a really sad way to go.
Did you see the movie Joker?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, the music there is quite interesting.
That's also from
It's the music was composed by
Hildur.
Yeah,
I think
it's a Swedish woman.
Iceland or Icelandic. I'm not sure.
She just plays.
She played the cello, which on the projects of Johan Johansson.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
They work together, so they have actually a bit of a similar sound.
So she just kind of improvised on the cello.
Yeah.
And created this very dark,
That makes sense.
tormented,
A bit of unplanned chaos.
Yeah.
But still beautiful. I love cello.
I
thought it was a very unique score. It's not even really a score because it wasn't really planned out. It was kind of
improvised.
Yeah.
Yeah, to score. It's just recorded and it's a score.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some really original ones. Like Interstellar was a very remarkable one.
I love Interstellar. It's one of my favorites.
Yes.
And then
science fiction movies, and maybe
like the Fountain.
Scores,
the Fountain
really,
was
really cool.
it was another remarkable.
Yeah, it was a very unique sound. Like I've mentioned before, I really like the score to Legend by Jerry Goldsmith.
Yeah.
Because I think it's got a lot of very unique sounds that really befit the sort of fairy tale world, but in a completely original way. It's weird sounds that he puts in there.
Yeah, it is, but it works in a weird way.
Yeah, it's playful. It's kind of disturbing. It's also beautiful and lyrical at times. I think it's a great, really underrated score.
I remember doing weird things for Will of the Woods, I think. Also recording voices or I think there are some moments where
some whispering and
whispering a pluck on the piano.
Yeah.
And it's really
your experimental phase.
I didn't know what I was doing.
It was when there were rumors about the Wraith in the woods and people were telling stories about him.
Yeah, that's really
really creepy sound.
It's really fun.
Yeah, we
we
can edit that in.
That was really fun. That was really fun to do.
That was a creepy sound, like the.
I have to do it again.
awesome.
Sometimes with all those possibilities you have on a computer, you sometimes forget. You can also just record little things. But the story was small scale. I think it fitted the story to doing some only a piano, only this, only this, just some instruments, and that was more difficult to do with Witch Hunter. I think it demands a larger sound.
Witch Hunter had just the sound that I was hoping for. A big organ and lots of brass. Very. Very heavy, very...
It was very...
Whoa, what's happening here?
Whoa!
Dude!
Where's my gun? Dude! Whoa! So Keanu Reeves has arrived.
Keanu Reeves as Ludlov.
Oh, he's just saying, whoa! Maybe you can just say a sentence from Witch Hunter, but in Keanu Reeves style.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm
not prepared for this. I wasn't prepared for this.
He's not Howard.
I'm not an impersonator guy.
All right.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the guy who plays Howard Wall is really good at impressions.
Right. Yeah.
Simon Helberg, who plays Howard Wolowitz in The Big Bang Theory. He does really good impressions.
Okay.
He does Nicolas Cage really well, and Al Pacino.
Have Nicolas Cage and Keanu Reeves ever acted in the same movie?
That would have been incredible.
That would have been awesome. Yeah, they should do that. They should
Nicolas Cage
totally do that.
He's going strong. I think it is. Well, he's I think a bit making a comeback.
They should really do that before they retire.
I want to see Nicolas Cage and Michael Keaton in one movie. I think that would be an interesting combination.
Nicolas Cage and Michael Keaton. Yeah, I don't think that.
That would be an interesting
Michael
combination.
Keaton's coming back as Batman.
I heard something about that.
Yeah, they're making the movie of The Flash.
Oh, cool.
In DC, in the DC universe, and they're making a multiverse movie.
Oh, okay.
So they're going to be two Batmans. That's what I read. So, but Michael Keaton's Batman is one of the two Batmans.
Okay, and Adam West, I hope.
Batman and Batman.
Batman. Which composer would you like to have to compose the music for Avatar 2?
Oh, a question for me?
Yes.
Actually, I was thinking...
I'm going off script again.
Off script.
So we went off script and now I went off script.
I would choose between
Those are the
either
best pieces.
James Newton Howard or Michael Giacchino.
Okay.
So that would be my response.
Yeah, I would go for Michael Giacchino.
Because I think James Newton Howard can do the big sweeping orchestral stuff with this sort of ethnical stuff as well. And Michael Giacchino, I think, is like when it comes to the big sweeping symphonic orchestral stuff, he's like the freshest voice in the contemporary film music business.
And what about John Powell?
Oh, yeah. That would be a great choice too.
Because he made How to Train Your Dragon, which is
it's an
awesome
soundtrack.
score.
Yeah,
that's
true.
It's really...
That's
he also
true.
made the music for Solo, one of the Star Wars movies.
And that was actually quite good too.
That was quite good, yeah.
I think that's one of the best Star Wars movies I've actually...
But Michael Giacchino did the music for Rogue One, which was also a really good
it's also
score.
very good. Yeah, completely.
So
But I think
Maybe they should work together.
yeah.
All three of them.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, why not?
And maybe add in...
It doesn't happen a lot anymore.
Or they should create a reality show where they show off and then the audience can pick their favorite and that one
jury.
gets...
like those concerts, Hans Zimmer versus John Williams.
Oh, that's
that's stupid because why? But
there's no verses. I mean,
I've never seen one of those concerts, but I've seen those like ads on Facebook.
I know they do that a lot in like techno music, like this guy versus that guy. You see that a lot.
But those composers don't know
DJs.
anything about it. They just perform their music. It's not like
And featuring.
featuring.
Yeah.
Tommy Wiseau. Featuring Domien de Groot.
Dance and techno music. They used to
Well,
do that.
you're featuring one of my in a piece I composed as a narrator.
Oh, as a narrator, not as in any musical.
No, but you're
capacity.
featured in it. It says featuring. I think
it was a poem that I had to read.
Yeah, it's a poem from. I don't know.
I Will Arise. No,
Oh,
that was something else.
Yeah, no, that's
David Jan did that.
I can't do that.
I forgot the text completely.
To the sea, to the lonely sea and the sky.
Right.
I will arise. No, it's not. That's again David
That's
Jan.
a different poem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, you did sing in
Will of the Woods.
In Will of the Woods.
Yeah, I didn't have like a singer, so I just did it myself.
That was pretty good.
That was like.
I like that.
And I was too introvert or too asocial. What is asocial? I was
Antisocial.
I was too antisocial, like to ask someone else, so I just did it myself.
That's the story
I
behind
think the word is introverted, perhaps, or shy, but antisocial is. It's more like it's more like if you destroy stuff just to annoy people. Yeah,
maybe too.
Well, you haven't destroyed anything here.
Unsociable. That's the word I think.
Yeah.
Unsociable.
Unsociable. Okay. So it was probably too unsociable. I don't know. Just did it myself. No.
We like to do everything ourselves just to save time. That's another big argument.
Yeah. And it is a really big one because, like, if you have an audio story with multiple parts, having to wait for voice actors
and then hopefully it's the right tone. If you don't have to make adjustments.
You do
because
auditions first.
Or you invite them over to record over here, but
or maybe with the Zoom thing, and then you can like
but
direct them, or
the sound quality has to be.
But Zoom has improved vastly the last year in sound quality. Actually, you can. Not to promote Zoom or something, but you can now really do an online podcast, and it's really and it records separate tracks. They vastly improved.
Well,
I think there might be
the actor could be recording at home while we are directing over Zoom. That's a possibility.
And the quality now from Zoom is far superior now.
The issue that I just have is
you can ask him to record it locally, and then he can send it over.
Because otherwise you're
I think that
dependent
might be better,
on the internet. And
but even with all of that in mind, it's still hugely time consuming to involve other actors, because take, in an audiobook, take any scene, let's say, for example, I play Ludlov and some other character and the narrator. So I'm just narrating and I change my voice for Ludlov, and then there's another character. I change my voice to do that character. That's it. Now, imagine some other guy does that other character. Say Michael Paz does the other guy. Yeah. So then I have to do the whole reading exactly the way I did the first time. I also have to play the other character. Then Michael Paz has to record his lines, and I have to separate them and make sure that they sound sort of in the same volume and compression, and paste them in line by line.
So actually you should have use the same microphone, use exactly the same gear, use the same levels. It's true. There is a lot of technical hurdles.
It's really complicated to involve other people. But for the Treasure of Boneyard Bay, there is at least one person that we are definitely going to ask, because he already played that character in a previous Witch Hunter story,
and he did it very well.
Yeah. Okay. So it's I think we can say it's Aaron Bodanovic, who played Gustav Finsterdunkel. He's coming back. He plays a big role, the character in the Treasure of Boneyard Bay.
It says, "I'm back."
Well, it's a prequel, so I'm here for the first time.
You've never heard me. Hello there.
Spoiler alert.
Do it.
So the people who have been, kind enough to listen for 2 hours, they deserve a little spoiler, I think.
Can I have a guest role in it? I already asked that.
Yes, you can. Sure. You can play the sea monster.
There are a lot of Flemish crew members. So.
Okay. Flemish.
Right, on the ship,
Hi, guest, what's the montoon? That is translated to, hey, dude, what are we doing?
That we could definitely do that.
I want to say that line in somewhere.
Okay,
then... You got a deal then.
Okay.
You can do it right now, and then we'll paste it in.
Well, I just did it, so...
Yeah, okay.
You have it now.
We're done here.
Okay, we're done. That's how you just record people. You ask them for a podcast, and you say, it was actually... Can you say this line, and this line, and this line? A bit different? Okay.
I think it's pretty incredible how much the tone of our conversation has shifted from the beginning. We sort of went over these questions that we had prepared very neatly.
To set the mood.
Yeah, and then...
it also helps to just get things started.
Just get things going. Yeah, it's true. Because if you begin and really awkward, okay.
You're you got silent and you say, start talking.
Yeah, start talking. Now.
Talk now.
Talk about yourself. I'm...
Start now.
No. That's not what I asked!
Be spontaneous!
Listen to the question! Answer the question!
Do it!
Do it!
So you do voices. But you just can't...
He's kind of shy.
Talk like Keanu Reeves in how he was...
Whoa.
No, but another line. I really still want to hear a line from Ludlov played by Keanu Reeves.
But what line?
Okay.
What
Maybe
line
the first line. What is the first of what is... The very
But-
first line.
So now the darkness is complete.
Yeah, but this okay.
I can't really think of how Keanu Reeves speaks.
How does Nicolas Cage say it?
So now the darkness is complete.
Actually, I heard Keanu Reeves more in that.
Yeah, so I was trying to do Nicolas Cage.
But I really heard like
Maybe you're just obsessed with
no.
Keanu Reeves.
All those posters.
I can do Sean Connery, but everyone does Sean Connery.
Yeah.
So maybe you should do Sean Connery.
Can you do Julia Roberts?
Go to the Rock. What?
I can do Julia Roberts.
Julia?
I'm Julia Roberts.
That's not Julia Roberts. How even? How?
And you can do Matt Damon, right?
Matt Damon.
Yeah. How would John Williams say that now? John Williams has a very young sounding voice, actually.
Yeah, for a guy who's
Yeah, it's
like
a
90.
Yeah. Is he 90? Yeah.
I don't know, something like that.
He doesn't sound ancient.
Ancient.
Or like Smeagol.
Somehow with an Eastern European accent. Yes, I'm John Williams.
I'm John Williams.
John Williams. Okay, sorry, John Williams. Somehow you sound like that.
What wasn't
Take it
the,
again from the first bar.
what was in that tea?
Roses, apparently.
Yeah,
Roses.
special roses.
Special
You
roses.
are my rose.
Okay, this is really
Desert
getting off
roses.
track.
Yeah.
Okay, next time.
We went over the 2-hour mark, so I think
It's a good
I think
We should
the
wrap things up.
the listeners will be pleased with us.
If they didn't fall
Our
asleep.
masters will be pleased with us.
Okay, your computer is making the sound also. It's from
The sound that
the
says
sound.
it's time to
the
say
sound
goodbye.
yeah, it's time to say goodbye. You're my rose. We're going. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I really want to hear that close harmony version of Duel of the Fates now.
Well, yeah.
Wasn't there this guy on YouTube that did that? I think so.
He did.
Yeah.
On his own.
Yeah, and then
wasn't that
looped
the
and-
guy who
and
worked
recorded
with,
in multi-track.
Lindsay Sterling?
Yeah, Peter Hollins.
Peter Hollins, yeah.
And Lindsay Sterling was playing the violin at the same time.
So it's
Yeah.
you're making like a circle.
Yeah, and
like
she's-
the violin. Is it?
She's
Yeah, she's
great.
always running around when she's
Yeah.
playing the violin. Have you ever seen her?
No.
Yeah, so she's this violinist on YouTube, and she's always dancing and prancing.
Yeah, she's
Well-
great at playing the violin, but she's even better at just
Dancing and prancing.
dancing around
Yeah.
and jumping, and she cannot stand still.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay. I look it up.
Lindsay Sterling.
it's like she's on
And
ecstasy
Peter
all the
Hollins.
time.
In.
They did Star Wars. They
Avatar
did
too.
Skyrim.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was awesome.
They did Dragon Age.
You should make notes, podcast notes with all the references.
Yeah, we will.
Okay.
Oh, it's gonna be a long, long list.
So long.
It's good. The list is gonna be as long as the references in the movie Ready Player One.
Which was a good movie.
Yeah, lots of references in there.
Yeah.
Lots.
But cool music from Anna Silvestri.
I'd like to see it again. Let's watch it.
Let's watch it now. Okay, and we
Okay.
record it and we.
A commentary track. Okay. Good night, folks. We had fun. We hope you did too. And
we want to thank our patrons.
Yes, of course. Thank you, dear patrons, for supporting us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, that
We
was
want
our
to thank
pleasure.
Peter for being here.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
For
And
thanking
thank
me.
you for the music.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And now we have like 5 minutes of Domien humming. Thank you for the music. Another fade out.
Yeah.
Close harmony. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh no, you're singing something else now. Oh no.
Thank you for the music. Okay, goodbye.